So GameStop doesn't want the public to know the ins and out of their Pokemon trading card PSA buyback program so much that they're silencing creators who talk about it. What's going on, everybody? You're watching the channel Dr. Applesauce 2. My name's Will. It's another beautiful day here in Texas. I hope you guys know that I love you, God loves you, and there is an awesome plan for your life. I'm sure you know, if you follow the Pokemon TCG hobby at all, you know by now that GameStop is buying graded Pokemon cards from collectors in stores and selling them on their website. Whenever I find interesting things that happen in the Pokemon card community, I like to cover them and document it and make a few videos about it. I've made a couple videos about this, and one of the videos that I made was a video showing their training guide that a GameStop employee gave me, basically showing their employees how everything works, how they're going to buy things back, showing how they're training their employees to spot fake slabs and things of that nature. And I wanted to show all of you guys that information so that as consumers and customers, we can make an educated choice if we want to sell our products to GameStop or not. And sadly, I woke up this morning to a copyright strike on YouTube that GameStop claimed a copyright strike had YouTube remove the video and hit me with a strike on my account. Now, you might not know what all of this means. You might not really understand all the differences between all this, but basically, typically what you're supposed to do is, so if somebody uses your copyrighted work, which I didn't, there could be an argument made that because it's GameStop, their information, that they can say it's copyrighted work, whatever, I'll concede that. But nowhere on the documents that I shared in that video did anything say about this material being copyright, did anything say about it being intellectual property, did anything about anything. It was just a PowerPoint document that was printed up that I just wanted to share with you guys so everybody could make good decisions if they want to sell to GameStop or not, and a lot of people are. Anyways, typically the process goes, if you're going to file a copyright claim against somebody, you have one of two options. You can file an option that says, basically, this is all done through YouTube, that says, hey, send a message to the creator, give the creator 7 days to remove the video. If not, we'll file a copyright strike. You get 3 strikes on your account, your YouTube account gets deleted. That's typically the way that you go. That's typically how you do. You give the creator an opportunity to take it down, and then that's what you do. But there's another option that basically says, immediately file a copyright strike, the content creator will be struck and the video will be removed. And that's immediately what GameStop did. GameStop never emailed me. They never went through the YouTube process to have this video removed. None of that. And so it's really concerning to me because why do they not want this information to be shown to people? Why do they not want you, the public, to know this information? You have creators out there like Leonhardt, who made a video selling cards to GameStop, literally recording the screen that GameStop is using in their system. Nothing wrong with that. PokeBeach sharing some of the same images that I shared in their articles. Nothing wrong with that. None of those people have had their content removed. So I wanted to bring this to you because I want this information out there. So I'm going to show you the information. I'm just going to blur it all out where you're not going to be able to see it, but you're going to see me reading it and you'll be able to hear what it says. I just won't be actually actively showing it to you. This is really highly disappointing because seeing people selling cards to GameStop, and GameStop's either offering anywhere from 50 to 60%, which is whatever, but sometimes there's documented proof of people I've seen on TikTok taking cards into GameStop, and GameStop's offering $1 on cards that are either low pop or serialized. That it's not easy to find recent comps, but that would sell for hundreds of dollars. GameStop's offering $1. You even have text like this. The people are sending me text like this. This is a text between 2 GameStop employees talking about how GameStop offered $3 for a card that's $50. Now, this is nothing new. GameStop has always done this with their video games, but we were hoping for more from GameStop in this situation. And I do have an option to fight a copyright strike like this, but when I went to what are my options, basically it tells me I'm giving all of my personal information, and GameStop can use that information to sue me, and I can't stand up against GameStop. I can't fight GameStop, so I really have no choice but just to let it go and do what I'm going to do here and re-upload the segment into the video with all of the information blurred out so you guys can just hear me talking about the information, because I want the information out there. It's not going to help the fact that the video initially was doing incredibly. It got like 10,000 views in the first 12 hours, and then it got another 200 views in the next 6 days. Well, obviously because GameStop submitted a copyright strike on me without even asking me to remove the video through YouTube systems, which is incredibly disrespectful in my opinion. I've been a fan of GameStop. I've been a customer of GameStop. I'm a GameStop Rewards member for almost 20 years. I think since I was 15, and I guess that'd be a little over 20 years. 15, yeah, that'd be 21 years, something like that. And this is the treatment that I get. I will never spend another dollar at GameStop. There's plenty of other options for me. There's local game stores where I can go and buy cards. There's other places where I can go and buy my video games. I'll never spend another dollar at GameStop. GameStop will never get me as a customer. And I'm going to give y'all the information that they don't want you to see. I'm just going to blur it out so I don't get another copyright strike. But I just find it to be incredibly disrespectful. This is just a way of a large corporation throwing their weight around to get what they want. They could have gone through YouTube systems to ask me to remove the video, and I would have done so with no problems, but they had to go this way. So here's the information that they don't want you to know for some reason, that they're willing to try and silence creators like me, which, in my opinion, file an erroneous copyright strike, not claim, strike, that I really can't do anything about, because if they decide to take me to court, they can ruin me easily, and so it's not worth the fight. So here's the information, all blurred out, but I'm reading it so you guys can see what it is, and it's not bad or good, it's just information. So here you go. So this first thing that we're going to see here, and I've kind of looked through this, and I'm going to kind of go through and look at all of this with you a little bit more in depth. But the first thing that we're seeing here is a marketing guide. You're seeing that this is basically like, this is a big thing, that this isn't some little thing that they're planning. This is a big thing that they're doing. You can see current marketing set to deliver late May. The below marketing was sent to the first round of graded collectible stores in May with the intent to expand this marketing to all stores in June. All stores, all GameStop stores in June. The thing that I find the most relevant about that is that means there's not really going to be any hiring, I'm assuming, of people that know a lot about TCGs. Maybe some internal employees will, be given more of a like, hey, you're going to be in charge of this because you've said you know more about TCGs. We don't really know, but that's one of my biggest things is I'm worried that they're not going to bring on experts, so to speak, like, if you go to an LGS, you're going to at least have people that are familiar with how things go. So this is going to be going to all stores in June. It's already at test stores. There's going to be a full sheet that's going to be placed in the trading card section. There's going to be a full marketing sheet in a landscape form that's going to be placed at the cash wrap. I'm assuming that's up by the cash register, and a full window poster to be placed on the front window. You can see some examples of some of those displays right there. So this is there's a big push for this. There's going to be a lot of advertising, a lot of marketing for this. It's going to be all over the stores. This is something that GameStop's very serious about doing. Next up, we're going to go into what I think is probably one of the more confusing parts, and I'm not going to read everything, but they have a whole guide and a whole bunch of things right here, basically set up to train their employees how to identify real PSA slabs and fake PSA slabs. And while that's great, that's a good thing, there's a lot of information here that most collectors don't even really know, that's even hard for somebody like me to keep track of. And I just am not sure if the average GameStop employee who, isn't making a ton of money is going to care about going through the minutia of all of this. And GameStop employs a lot of high school kids. Are they going to really care about going through all of this every time somebody wants to put a trade in? And how well is it going to be done? All right, so we got graded collectibles buyback, PSA versus GameStop, or PSA and GameStop. If you hold an authentic PSA certified item up to the light at close range, looking from the back of the label to the front of the label in the back, you should be able to see through the label enough to decipher the text on the other side. PSA Lighthouse logo, fugitive ink graphic, classic red PSA trim, PSA logo with UV logo, QR code, yada, 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 yada. And then here we have an example. So what's happening here? This is good. This is good stuff. This is an example of a PSA logo and showing, identifying all of these different things. Here's the fugitive ink graphic, the little wavy blue ink graphic. Here's the Lighthouse logo, all that stuff. So this is good that they're doing this. It's just a lot for people to absorb right off the get-go. All right, next we're going to go a little bit further into showing some of the things that they are going to be buying and not going to be buying. So say the labels. Below are some of the examples of labels of graded items you might see. So one, we have cards right here. It's showing some examples of PSA graded cards. Cards are the most commonly graded items. You'll see them far more than anything else. So that's very true. Autographs, next down, are the second most common items. These have a very similar label to cards and may match a serial number on a graded card. At launch, we will not be purchasing these, limiting ourselves to PSA graded cards only. So that lets me know and lets us know that at least they have the intention in the future of expanding to buying back autographed items. This is an indicator that they are really at least planning to implement a strategy to move into the TCG collectible space. One of the things that I find so weird about that is one of the companies that GameStop owned that was under the GameStop umbrella was ThinkGeek. Does anybody remember ThinkGeek? This awesome, wonderful collectibles store that sold trading cards. And they closed ThinkGeeks down after the pandemic and kept GameStops open. It's very odd that we're having this move made when the GameStop umbrella had the perfect store that would have been primed to do something like this. So that's just my little rant about that right there. So they will be taking in PSA graded cards, and then it seems like they have plans to take in autographs. And the next one it says is, we will not accept non-encapsulated items such as jerseys and other large items, since these do not meet the minimum standard of a PSA 8 and have no grade. So you can get you can have different things like a Funko Pop or jerseys or basketballs or whatever that's autographed with maybe a PSA sticker on it that says the autograph is authentic. They're only going to be taking encapsulated things. I wonder if they're going to take encapsulated Funko Pops in video games, because that is something too. But you see, you start getting into this thing where there's so much information that an employee would be expected to know. The average GameStop employee that isn't making a ton of money, it can't be expected of them to know all of that, which is one of my biggest concerns. All right, next we're going to, this is their checklist, okay? So here's the checklist. This is legitimately like the checklist that they'll use when they're taking in graded items, okay? So you can see right here, so looking at the holder, the injection spot, run your finger along the bottom of the case. You will feel a bump in the center. If the case is completely smooth, reject the trade. Ticks, hold the case flat and look at it from the side. On the left and right sides of the case, you will see 3 ticks or small lines. If these are absent, reject the trade. Part numbers, inspect the bottom right hand corner for a part number. If this is absent or does not read T or IT 27 or 21, reject the trade. Rolls, inside the case you will see 2 vertical and horizontal lines of plastic that hold the card into place with a taper at the end. If these are absent or missing, reject the trade. 90-degree angles around the card is a transparent section of the case. The corners should come to a perfect 90-degree angle. If the corners are rounded and not crisp, reject the trade. That's just the holder. There's a whole set of guidelines for a label and tampering. And this is great. This is great that they're providing this to their employees. My concern is just, this is exhaustive. And yes, if you're somebody like me or somebody that vends in Pokemon cards, at conventions all the time, or somebody that's a middleman for grading all the time, and you know all of this stuff, and you can take a slab and you can pick up a slab and be like, okay, and kind of look at it really quickly, and I'm looking for, yeah, you can go through this really quick. The majority of GameStop employees don't have that skill set. I worry that this is a lot to ask the average GameStop employee right off the jump. So you have a whole thing for labels, blacklight test. We've done the blacklight test in videos before. Lighthouse label, we've gone through the lighthouse labels in videos before. And then looking for tampering. And so this is literally a checklist that they'll go through. And you have to see date traded by, date traded. So they have to literally go through and fill this out. I'm assuming for every single graded collectible. So imagine you take in, 20 PSA cards, and they got to do this for every single one. How long is that trade-in going to take? It's going to take a while. And this is showing us more and more that this, a lot of the comments that I got on the video that I made on Friday was like, this can't be something that they're taking serious. They can't really be planning to roll this out. Why I'm showing you guys this guide is the fact that they've made a guide. It shows that there's a lot of effort being put behind this for GameStop. All the detail that's going into this guide shows that there's a lot of effort that's going into this by GameStop. The marketing materials, all that stuff. This is something that they're going to make a big push for. All right, over here we have the graded collectibles buyback fraud check. So ways to check for fraud. Check the authentication number. Review the PSA holders in bulk. Check the holders, check the labels, check for tampering, just some more points. And it says, if at any point in time you see something that indicates a fraudulent item, you should immediately decline the item. This may sound like we are unable to accept this item at this time. All steps must be followed to ensure we are buying only authentic items to insulate your business from shrink and loss of sales. They're even providing things to say to people when they have to decline things. They're providing coaching opportunities here. Very, very, they're doing a lot of work here behind the scenes to get these people ready for this. Okay, so now we're going to quickly go through a few slides that shows that they've even gone so far as to make a part of the guide showing their employees how to ship these items to, I guess, GameStop corporate, because they're not going to be putting them up for sale right away in stores. It did say in the PokeBeach article that they're going to be putting them up for sale online, but this is just a bunch of things showing they're actually going through an extensive, here's how you ship everything out. So you can see shipping is currently not available, but it will be in the future. Cards should be placed in a small bubble mailer, never more than 1 per bag. All collectibles, cards, and others should be placed in a box and secured tightly with bubble wrap or void fill paper. The boxes should then be placed in a larger box and secured tightly with bubble wrap. This, I mean, this is a good way. Like, this is a good way to ship cards. For display, all collectibles purchased through this buyback product should not be displayed for sale at this time. Fixtures for displaying these graded collectibles are currently being sourced. So, another indicator that they're really planning that this is going to become a staple of GameStop. They are sourcing fixtures to display these graded collectibles in their stores. They're currently being sourced, and sellability is expected to be a quick follow to purchasing. So they're starting to implement the purchasing, and they expect the sellability of these cards that they're purchasing in store to be a quick follow. Guidance will be provided at a later date once these items are approved for sale in stores. If cleaning the case is needed, use a disinfectant wipe. Cleaning solution should never be sprayed directly on the case. Yeah, be really careful about it. If you put something in there that's too caustic, so you could make the slabs hazy. And this is just showing like they actually are showing their employees how to package these items up and ship them out. I'm guessing to GameStop corporate or GameStop warehouse or wherever the case may be. They've actually gone through all of this to do that, which is impressive. And even, pre-trade setup, like how to set up a box. They're taking in a trade. Okay, so we're taking in a trade from this person. Let's set up the box so we can file everything, put everything in the box, do it appropriately. Like, they've come up with the systems and everything. This isn't just a fly-by-night thing that they're thinking, oh, this might be a good idea. They're putting systems and processes in it. And this is a huge deal. Having a huge giant like GameStop want to do this, it's either going to be a massive failure or it's going to be incredibly successful and hurt local game stores, which I think kind of sucks, but I mean, it's interesting to see what's going to happen. Okay, so this is some interesting stuff right here. So we got some frequently asked questions. I think there's some important information here. Again, guys, if you're enjoying this video, let me know down in the comments what you think about this whole process. I want to know your feedback, what you guys think. Frequently asked questions, trades and selling. How did the graded collectibles SKU work? Okay, that doesn't mean anything for us. What kind of collectibles will we be buying? At launch, we will be limiting the collectibles we buy to PSA graded trading cards with a rating of 8 to 10. So at launch, they're only going to be buying PSA graded trading cards from 8 to 10. That doesn't mean just Pokemon. Pokemon will probably be one of the bigger ones, but that's what they're limiting it to. We'll also be limiting the purchase to items with a trade price of 500 or less. So they won't be buying anything with a trade price of 500 or less. So the original video that I made on Friday in the article, it said with a price or a value of 500 or less. That right there with a trade price of 500 or less, is that value of the item, or is that the trade value that they're giving? Because if that's the trade value that they're giving, then that could be a very, very, very expensive item. Is there a maximum number of cards I can trade in at once? While there is not a maximum number of cards enforced by the register, each card is processed through Retech, which I'm assuming is their point of sale system or something, and priced one at a time, okay? When a customer comes in with 5 or more cards, please be confident in handling like a large system trade, like a large system. So handling the sale like it's a large system trade, the value of like bringing in a large gaming system. If you need to set up your graded customer trade on one register and step away to handle additional customers at the ready, that is the right thing to do. Are we going to expand collectible trades to more than just PSA cards? This is important. As we continue to build our back-end systems and implement key learning from your wins, with feedback, we will explore expanding to buy back more types of collectibles, as well as expanding to different grading companies to meet our customers where they are. So they do plan on expanding beyond just PSA and beyond just trading cards. This is the key one. How is pricing determined when a customer trades in? Our tech teams are building a pricing model into the point of sale that compares pricing and provides instant trade quotes for the customer for each specific item they're trading. This pricing model is run when an item is scanned in for trade and therefore can give real-time pricing for an item rather than using a static price point like most of our competition. So I can't, that bit's cut off. So what that makes me think is it says tech teams are building a pricing model in the point of sale that compares pricing and provides instant trade quote for the customer for each thing they're trading. That makes me think they're actually having software engineers create an algorithm in their point of sale that once they scan something is going to take averages of sales or maybe the most recent sales of, whatever that card is and say, okay, here's the most recent value, average value. Here's the percentage we buy it, spit it out. Hey, you guys can offer this much. It looks like they're building some type of systemic algorithm to automatically calculate all of this, which is very interesting. That's, again, showing this isn't just something they're doing willy-nilly. So will customers be able to get a trade quote online or over the phone? Store teams will have a few items to validate for each item, in person for each item. And because each item has its own unique certificate ID, each card, even with the same grading, potentially has a unique value, even updating by the minute. Basically, training their employees that these card values are constantly changing. A trade quote is only valid for the transaction that it is processed in, because the prices are constantly changing. What happens if a customer comes in to trade and has to come back later? Can I suspend the transaction to save their quote? Due to the fluctuating pricing of grading collectibles, pricing is not set day by the day. Instead, pricing can update each time a specific card is ran, thus supporting, I think they're setting up some type of algorithmic process in their point of sale system to give automatic aggregated pricing based on the percentages that they're willing to purchase at. So let me know what you think, guys, down in the comments below. Would you go sell stuff to GameStop? Some people are getting around 50 to 60% for their slabs. They're going to move into other graded companies. They're going to move into other collectibles. Some people are getting fair offers. Some people are getting really tiny lowball offers. Some things that they're selling are selling for fair. Some things that they're selling for incredibly wild prices. So it seems to be all over the board. And initially, I wasn't against and I wasn't for this. I was along the lines of like, let's see how it goes. It could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. Let's see what happens. But after they're so willing to not even give me a chance to edit the video or remove the video and just throw a strike against my account, makes it to where I can't support this program and I can't support GameStop anymore. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, do me a huge favor, give it a thumbs up. That really helps a lot, and you can comment and you can subscribe and hit that notification bell. Those things are free for you to do. And it helps the channel a whole bunch, especially after GameStop taking the video down. And if you enjoyed this video, check that one out right there too. I'm sure you'll like it as well. And like I always say, my friends, find somebody to love and serve today. Be the change you want to see in the world. See you next time.